Namaste, everyone. I'm Jenny. Of course, thanks for tuning in as always. Make sure you hit that little subscribe button down there in the corner in order to get content and videos and so on. Now, we are moving into a lot of powerful energies again. We have been going through the energies of the eclipse. We're still in Mercury retrograde. We're still having that Venus retrograde as well. And we are in the equinox energies. So these energies are powerful, as I just said, right? Like, how many of you, when you look back, like really, really look back onto the beginning of March, like what has happened? It's all about that unexpected energies, all of a sudden unexpected news, unexpected this, shocking this and shocking that. This is what happens with that eclipse. We're still in it, right? We have that, powerful new moon that's coming in here on the 29th as well, you guys, right? So what was hidden has come up to the surface. So it's really important to pay attention to what is not working, like what is out of whack. Like you cannot brush things under the rug and run away from it and expect, I'll just not deal with this right now. I will come back and deal with it another time. It doesn't work like that because this energy of the eclipse, it starts boom immediately. Like how many of you have been through that? I have. I have. Oh my God. Right? So you have to trust this process. So if you're paying attention and working with these energies, the energies will work with you. Like with that eclipse energy, it can bring in miracles, it can bring in surprises, and it can bring in a lot of ugliness as well. So if you're running from situations, boom, this is when the eclipse steps in, the universe steps in, and they're like, you know what? No, we're going to end that for you, or we're going to do this or this or that. Right. So, like, as I mentioned before, for those of you guys who've been watching the series and stuff, all of these appointments that I don't want to deal with and go through, I had booked them all in March, and then all of a sudden surgeries, sudden results, sudden biopsies, sudden like, and I'm like, oh my God, like shocking news. For those of you who know me, you know what I've been going through. Like, oh my God, right? So this is a time when you have to trust the process. So certain things come back, especially Mercury retrograde. It's all about health and wellness as well. There's a lot of other things, of course, with Mercury retrograde, but don't ignore your health during this time, especially if you're like, I don't know why that's bothering me, or I don't know, do something about it. Seriously, do something about it now because right now with this eclipse, excuse me, the next eclipse comes back in September. So some of you, what you've gone through, especially with your health or situations right now, September, things could come back again stronger in not a good way. Or you might be going for a checkup in June, or I mean in September, and everything's like, yeah, you're good to go. And you're like, yay, right? So pay attention right now. Like we have this equinox energy, like high vibrations. Like for some of you could be like, oh, wow, I'm feeling really tired and exhausted. Rest. Our down times gives us that energy. Like yesterday, I had my surgery, just boom, all of a sudden, last second, last minute. And I'm like, I was freaked out. I was numb. I was in shock. The surgeon and the nurses are like, Jenny, can you, like, are you paying attention to what we're saying? And I'm like, what? Right? You know? However, surrender it to your angels, surrender it for your highest good, deal with it, sort it out. So when you're feeling exhausted, if it's from a health situation, if it's from like, wow, I've been really overworking, or wow, why all of a sudden do I feel tired? Really listen to your body, pay attention to it, because when our body is saying you need rest, I'm so exhausted, rest, because you have that energy all of a sudden to like, yeah, I'm on the roll. I'm on the roll. I'm in that, like, wow. So, it's like, boom, I'm on the high rise right now. It's like, wow, 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 getting all of these things done that I was supposed to do, but because of my surgeries and biopsies and last minute things, I couldn't do it. But I can tell you, boom, high energy came in and boom, everything's done, right? So now it's just like slowing down with Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is the time to not rush anything. Mercury retrograde is the time to reset, revamp, restructure, but slow down, really slow down. You know, this equinox as well, you're going to find you could be more intuitive, very intuitive. Really pay attention to your dreams. You know, whenever you wake up, you're like, wow, that dream, like, wow. Write it down. Keep a dream journal because your soul, spirit world, guides, they're trying to show you different messages. Really pay attention. You know, especially too, as well, some of you have like seen different people. You're like, I don't connect with that person anymore. You know, I have to end my connection with them, no matter if it's business, personal, you know, Venus energy as well. You know, we have that on the 29th with that eclipse energy too. That's very karmic. So karmic energies can go into, wow, you know, I've just met my soulmate, or I've rekindled with someone, or all of a sudden you're going to be like, wow, I have to end my relationship with my person, or your person could end it with you. So there's still some kind of shocking, expecting unexpected as well on that 29th, you know, with the Venus energy that we've been in, and with that solar eclipse in Aries that we have on the 29th too. You know, so just kind of prepare. You know, you might be finding your sleep has been off. You know, you could have been having like, you know, wow, my body's hot one minute, cold the next, hot flashes, menopause. But we have those solar flares, and because of the energies are super high, your body's going to fluctuate in temperatures. Your body's going to try to adjust to these new energies right now. But just make sure you're drinking a lot more water. If you are like someone who works out a lot, listen to your body. Don't push it right now. Do not push it right now. Or if you're like, wow, you know, I have a lot of energy, I'm just going to go for that run, and listen to your body. Maybe it's that time to, yeah, sure, absolutely. Don't push anything right now, whatever you guys do. Really allow things to go with the flow. You have started to see as well synchronicities. If you look at where things are now, like from the 22nd to the 30th right now, really reflect back on certain things that have happened, especially with that eclipse. You know, beginning of January, December 2024, look at what lessons you learned then. Where are you now? Some of you could be like, oh, actually, you know, I didn't see that coming, because the eclipse brings things up. Certain synchronicities are coming. Wow, I'm glad I got that out of the way. Or now I understand why that didn't happen. Or now I understand why that had to happen, because we are moving into Aries, you know, April and such like that, the beginning of the new year with the equinox, boom, 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 all of that. It's here, new year. So we're sweeping and getting rid of leftovers from 2020, 24, right? And you are going to feel even now, and you have felt, I can feel changes coming. I'm feeling a shift somehow. Like, you know, I'm excited, but yet I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Don't force anything. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. You're really transforming right now. You really, really are. I don't trust the surface. Like, believe me, when I got my biopsy results, and the surgeon and everything, and I'm like, what? Like, what? You have to trust the process. I mean, if it's my time to go, seriously, that's it. That's the way it is, right? I'll just live my bucket list, and I won't have anything done, right? However, certain things come up. If it's business, if it's an ending of a friendship, if it's restructuring, if it's moving, if it's like whatever it is, to get you to where you're supposed to be, to bring you in your destiny. This is the year of the snake, healing, shedding old skin, rebirth, transformation. And it's also important to pay attention to deceit. Snake energy brings in deceit as well. So you are seeing certain friendships or business connections or relationships, all in general, that wow, that, you know, if it's a close friend or if it's an associate, whoever, we don't connect anymore, or I don't trust that person anymore. Really pay attention to that because this is what comes forward. If you ignore it and just brush it aside, consequences, and then you could get really, really hurt. You've been tying off and closing off toxins, toxic patterns, toxic behaviors, ending karmic relationships. So, and also you've been healing and clearing and ending karmic cycles with family. I mean, I've always been the black sheep of my family. I've never been accepted ever, right? That's why I am who I am today, helping other people and so on. But we don't have to be involved with certain energies and connections and so on, right? Let karma be where karma be's. Nobody can run from karma. I'm just saying that right now, right? So you also might see and hear about more accidents in the water, oceans, the lakes. I've been talking about this for quite some time. I've been an animal communicator as well. I connect with all animals and species. So, we've already seen that. So just really pay attention if you're in the water, if you're swimming, don't go alone. You could hear boating accidents, as the animals or the sharks are coming. Like so much is going on and on and on without going into details and stuff like that. Really pay attention to that as well. So, being open to that, being really open to that. So the 22nd and the 23rd, you might be like, you know what? I don't need that anymore. I know my worth. I know my worth. So you could be like slowing down, taking some space and time for yourself. I don't deserve that anymore. I'm going to shift forward. I'm going to end this situation. If it's a job, if it's a relationship, no matter what it is. So you are going to be revealing more and more and more connections yourself as well. And revisiting everything. You might be like, wow, I really need to set more boundaries with certain people. If you allow other people to constantly take you for granted, they're just going to keep on texting you and messaging you and asking you to do this, and that. And, we all have our limitations, right? So when you're like, I don't want to deal with that anymore, right? Like you're exhausting me, you're draining me, then do something about it, set some boundaries, right? You don't have to be rude about it or anything, but if you don't set boundaries, it's going to keep on happening over and over and over and over. Saying, right? So as we're moving into the 24th and 25th, you might all of a sudden see new opportunities start opening up for you. Oh, Jeni, I just got that call from that job. I just saw this. That message I've been waiting for has finally come through. Like, oh my gosh. But make sure you really prioritize what has to be done. Like, don't ignore that. Oh, I'll deal with that later. We can put stuff aside and everything. However, make sure that you're getting what is needed to get done. Prioritize things. It's like prioritize it, get it done, get it out of the way so you can move on into more of alignment with flowing. So this is a huge time when you're really going to be ascending forward. You're really going to be more intuitive then. You're going to be like, you know what? I got to really just take time and space for myself. Really important to take time and space for you. Really important. So you can hear those messages coming in from your soul and more intuitive and so on and so on. Right? So as we're moving into the 26th, 27th, and 28th, sleep could be a little off as well. You could be getting a little bit more emotional. As I mentioned, if you've been resolving situations and confronting situations, you're going to feel things flowing a lot better. Mercury retrograde, of course, we still have that miscommunication energy and vibes going on, lost messages. Make sure that whenever you're sending a message to somebody, you reread what you're sending it, you take a look at who you sent it to. And even when you sent it, go back in your sent folder and see you sent it to the right person and so on. Mercury retrograde can lose messages. So if you have an important message to send, I would reach out and say, okay, I just sent you that message. Did you get it? Right? Because you could have messages coming in and not see anything. Check your junk and spam folder as well. There's delays and such like that, communication problems, travel delays. so on and so on and so on. So you're going to really, really find that, maybe these are the days here that I'm going to really be confronting and resolving situations. You might find that there's some old wounds, especially from family re-lurking up that you're still healing and letting go of and working through. As long as you are working through it on your own and stuff like that, and just observing and reflecting and such and such and such, there's always toxic energies no matter who it is, right? I distance away from a lot of different things myself, no matter who it is, right? But you do things what feels right for you. So you might even find like the 26th and the 27th and the 28th, as you're reflecting back, like Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius, you're going to be affected most during that day, during those 3 days, 26th, 27th, 28th. You're going to find that you could be, a little bit more emotional, like really reflecting back on relationships, like romantic relationships, especially even more so. Reflecting back on what did you learn from those relationships or your partner? What, and be honest with yourself, like no relationships are perfect ever. Of course, there's no such thing as perfect. But what did you truly learn from that? And relationships can be friendships and, in general as well. Maybe you said and did something and really hurt somebody. You're like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Maybe you're the one that are like, wow, I need to reach out to that person I said or did something wrong. Really take a look back on romantic relationships. And two, why was that not working? Why? You can't control your person. You only have control over yourself. Take a look at what qualities you're looking for. Like, and be honest with yourself. Be really, really honest with yourself. So it's really important for you guys to balance fantasy with reality. When you start looking at the reality of the situation and the deal breakers, we can have a really nice relationship with somebody and be like, oh my gosh, right? Like those are deal breakers. Those are big deal breakers. If somebody wants a child or somebody doesn't want a child, or if somebody wants marriage and somebody doesn't want marriage, or somebody wants an open relationship and somebody's like, no, I want a commitment. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, right? Certain things and situations are deal breakers. Like if somebody said, Jeni, I want to have your baby, I'm not having any more children. Not a chance in hell. Sorry, that's a deal breaker, right? I'm just saying. So really take a look at what qualities you guys are wanting in a relationship or in a future partner and relationship. Be very specific. You know, this is a time when, even during this time, you're really going to want to take your power back, because as you take your power back, you're going to start healing and understanding more, because you're going to be more grounded. And you're going to be like, I don't deserve that. I don't deserve my partner or person or husband or wife to treat me like that. Like that, that's not okay. Have that heart to heart conversation. Because with this Venus energy, especially as we're moving into March 29th and 30th, that partial solar eclipse in Aries, that new moon, like, oh my God, sudden endings. Expect the unexpected. Yes. And unexpected can be good or not so good, right? Even, sudden shifts, sudden surprises, even on that new moon. New moons can be more emotional as well, of course. There could be more people passing away on that time. Really pay attention to your pets as well. These energies, your pets are very sensitive. They pick up on everything. Really pay attention to what they're trying to say to you. Yeah, my pet seems off. They're not eating, or they're not this or that. Yeah, these energies affects them. However, if I had any concerns, let's say with my animals, something's off, I would be taking them to the vet. So just really pay attention to that, really reflect back, because even on the new moon, soulmates could appear, twin flames could appear, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got proposed to, uh, you know, I'm getting married, or my person. Wow, I know that's my soulmate. I know that's my twin mate. People from the past we still have coming back with Mercury retrograde, all of a sudden could appear, send you a message. whatever it is, boom, all of that day. However, there's also going to be endings. Karmic. It's a karmic day with Venus and such. So there could be sudden endings. I'm sorry, I want a divorce. Or I'm sorry, I need to separate. Or I'm sorry, this isn't working anymore. I I'm done. I need to move on, whatever it is. So if you've been having a really kind of a rocky relationship, let's say, and you're like, this is when you be honest with yourself. Is this truly going to work? You can't force your partner to change. No. Have a heart to heart talk with your person. This isn't working because of these reasons. Can we work on this? Can we get a marriage coach, a relationship coach? Like, or I'm sorry, I just not ready to have a relationship anymore, or this just isn't working, like whatever it is, right? But the more you sweep it under the rug, it's going to catch up with you. And then, boom, expect the unexpected. Things could get really ugly really fast. You know, so just really always be honest, speak from your heart. The more you suppress, especially with the eclipse energies, Mercury retrograde and Venus and all of that, it's going to bite you really hard, you know. And nobody likes to be hurt, of course. But if you're leading somebody on with not the right intentions, boy, karmic ramifications for that as well. So this is the time to also not make any huge major decisions with certain situations. Just unless you know that, you know what, I know this is the right thing for me to do. When you're feeling that, then that's okay. Because when you're feeling calm and at peace with a decision, no matter how hard it is or how painful it is, you know that's the right thing to do. The universe will work with you because you're going to see more clarity. So really reflect back onto things because this is a very transformational time, like rebirth and everything under this new moon and so on, you know, and really just look back on everything and just take time for you to reflect on where you are now, where you were beginning of March. Just really take a look back because certain people have gone through a lot of different difficulties and challenges and shocking news, you know, and all of these kinds of things. So, you know, it's that time to really pay attention and heal and such. So now, if you're a Pisces under this full moon or new moon energies, you might find that you could be feeling a little lost. You could be like, oh my gosh, I'm a little confused. I'm feeling a little scattered right now. Just take a step back, breathe in, you know, start writing down some goals and such like that. No rushing in, right? Just, you know, take a look at where you're at with things. Don't make any rash decisions when you're uncertain, right? So if you're a Virgo, you could be a little frustrated with things. Like you could be like, oh, you know, we have those good and bad days, right? But you could be feeling a little bit more frustrated during that new moon. So whenever if I start to get upset, I'm like, okay, Jeni, we need to calm down, right? You know, we have different ways that calms us down. Meditate, going for a walk, listening to music, like working out, having a nice long bath, like whatever works for you. You know, like everybody knows what can kind of calm them down and so on and so on. Or if you're a Gemini, you could be having some communication issues of, you know, I'm trying to communicate to you. Are you not listening to me? I don't feel like I'm being heard. Or I just told you this, you know? So that can be becoming a little bit more difficult, right? You know, so it's like when you're trying to talk to somebody, let's say about something, they're just ignoring you, they're not paying attention, especially with something important. Really pay attention to that because you Geminis could be making some, you know, ending connections with friendships and just certain people in general and stuff like that. However, you might find that you're a lot more creative. You're going to be like, you know, I just got this idea, or you know, I really want to work on this. Really pay attention to that. But with your Sagittarius, you could be finding that miscommunication as well. Just please think before saying something. Please think first before you know, I got to say this or I got to talk to this person. Really be mindful of what you're saying before you say it because you could regret it. You know, just be very careful. Listen more. Really listen more that day but also step forward without any fear. Oh, I got to say this, I got to say that. Oh my God, oh my God. Okay, think first. What do I have to say? I know I have to say this. Maybe you're ending a relationship that day. Do you know what I mean? Just be more mindful and awareness first before you say something. If you're a Cancer Scorpio, of course, you're going to be thriving with passion. You're going to be like, I'm loving this. I'm just right in the groove right here. I'm being more creative. I'm seeing all kinds of things done. I'm stepping forward, right? So that could be a really, really good day for you. Pay attention to what you're resonating with, and you're really going to start to take charge that day. Especially if you're an Aries. You might find that, you know what, today is the day. I'm taking leaps forward. I am taking measures in my own hand. I'm letting all of my fears go. I'm taking huge quantum leap steps forward and I'm being bold. That's it. Boom, diddy boom. You know? So we get pushed by certain signs where if you're Capricorn or a Libra, you're going to be feeling uncertain as well. However, you are going to find that you're going to start confronting a little bit more situations as well that day. You all know certain things we need to confront and deal with and so on, right? If you're Aquarius, you're going to find that you're going to be more creative as well. You're going to be like, I'm a little bit more, have more inspiration, or that person inspires me. What can I change? What can I revamp, no matter what it is? If you're a Taurus, you're going to be very passionate. You're going to be wanting a lot more stability and so on and so on. You're going to be like, you know what, I got to really follow my passions. As I've always saying, when you follow what you're passionate about, new doors open. It could be your soul's calling, it could be your soul's destiny. And that could really take you and open up a whole new life for you. Taurus are passionate as it is, but just keep listening to where that is. If you're a Leo, bold action for you, Leo. Bold action, powerful breakthroughs, powerful transformations. Like really take a look back again on March 1st. What's going on the 29th? What did you go through? What did you transform? What did you resolve? Like you're really going to start to feel like a lot more powerful, taking your power back. You're going to be seeing a lot more. That's why that happened. This is, where I am today because of this, and that, right? So it's really important to keep your heart open as well as you guys are working through this energies, like the new moons, put your crystals outside, or on a window ledge and so on and so on, right? Take a look at the moon if you can, and just open your heart, set intentions, set your vision boards, but be very specific and detailed as much as possible, right? Because my God, we're already moving into April. Like, holy smolies, right? What happened? My surgery was originally scheduled for the 1st of April, my other surgery. It's kind of ongoing. But when I had went for my checkup on St. Patty's Day, boom, they said, because of the biopsy, we got to do this right now. And I'm like, what? God be with me. Right? You know what I'm saying? So this is why taking advantage and trusting the process, no matter what, just really focus on you, really focus on you. You'll see things coming together and such like that, no matter what. Nobody likes to go through certain things. However, if you don't deal with it, there'll be consequences. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards. I don't use cards when I do readings because I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium. I do past life Akashic records. I'm an animal communicator, meditation teacher, esoteric spiritual teacher. However, because I'm doing this YouTube collectively, I am going to pull a couple of cards to see what messages are for you. Not everyone, of course, is going to resonate with this. And it would really help if you guys like my channel, subscribe, and we'll see. So I'm going to use the deck here, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. Let's see what messages are for you. Let me know if you resonate with this card. But of course, not everybody who's watching this is going to say, oh yeah, that was my card. No, of course not, right? So Let's find out what messages from the 22nd of March to the 30th. What's the messages? Message. A message from the universe. It's a message from the universe. Just pay attention to your dreams as well, you guys. Alrighty then. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Watch your thoughts, really watch your thoughts. We can go into fears and doubts and, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to happen, or oh my God, this is what happened. Really watch your thoughts and stuff. We're humans, we go through things. You can have fears, absolutely, and so on and so on and so on. In the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I still have 2 more biopsy results to get. Hopefully everything's fine. But then you don't really know, so your mind can overwonder, your mind can overthink. So it's like, you know what, I'm surrendering this to spirit. I did my part into resolving this, into dealing with it, and that's the way it is. If you don't resolve things, if you ignore things, that's when trouble comes in. That's why I've been saying and warning you guys with my vibes, cosmic vibes series, when to do certain things and when to not do certain things, because the energy will flow with you. Right? Alrighty. 22nd to the 30th, we're going to use Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards by Jade Sky. For those of you who want to see the deck. Scotland, by the way, one of my favorite places. I was going to move to Scotland. I got to renew my British passport, mind you, but let's see who Spirit takes me to, right? Alrighty, 22nd to the 30th. The message from the spirit world. It's the message from the spirit world. You feel that card? It's a message from the spirit world. There we go. Open to love. Relationships, passion, fulfillment. Yes, we have this Venus energy. Like some of you are going to be like, oh, hell, I don't want no love. It's the last thing I'm looking for. Yeah, of course. Some of you are wanting to find your person. Some of you are wanting to have a really nice connection. Some of you are like, but that's the thing. Really start writing down what qualities you want and looking for in a partner. Really pay attention to what do I truly, truly want. Keep your heart open always. Even if you've been betrayed or you had your heart broken, keep your heart open, because if you do want to work through that painful situation, your heart has to be open in order to heal it. Maybe some of you will find love. Maybe, like I said, with this Venus energy on the 29th, soulmates appear, twin flames appear. That's a very powerful day, that new moon. All of a sudden, you could get your call from that person. You're like, what? You're single? Really? Or you're asking me out? Really? Or you might find that somebody that you got your eyes on is single, or you're ready to finally get together. So keep your heart open. Keep your heart open. What's the worst thing that can happen? I'm sorry, I'm not looking at dating right now, or I'm sorry, I am dating somebody. Well, if you don't say anything, relationships can be lost when we don't say anything, right? So let's have a little chat with the animals, and I'm using my sea animals because of the water energies, right? Whispers of the Oracle or the Ocean by Angela Hartfeld. There we go. What is the message from our animal kingdom? I call all animals, sea life or reptiles or whoever. I just call them all animals. I don't specify them. I talk to all walks of life. Oops. I don't know. That's 22nd to the 30th. Message from our animal kingdom. 22nd to the 30th. My ring keeps on falling off my finger. 22nd to the 30th. 30th, there we go. Aw. Shared inspiration. Throw yourself into a new project. Be willing to let go of time constraints and rules, and really be aware of whatever fulfills your heart. Yes. Yes. Pay attention to what you're drawn towards, what you're passionate about, especially when you get creative. Really, you don't have to put everything together at once, but when you're like, I'd like to do this and that, or start writing it down. Not in your mind, start writing it down. I'm always working on stuff myself. So it's like if I hear a new idea or if I'm like, I need to not do this or I need to add this on, I will. But well, how am I going to do that? I don't know. Write it down. I need to do more research on this or to that or whatever. Maybe some of you are like, I just want to color in my coloring book or paint, or maybe I'm going to start writing, or maybe I'm going to sign up for that class to learn how to do this or this or that. Like, certain things like that. Really pay attention right now. You don't have to be perfect. I do photography, but I'm not no perfect at it or anything, right? I do it because I enjoy it, because I'm very passionate about it. And I meet amazing people through that. So really go by what you're drawn into, really passionate about. So now, how many of you are subscribed to my channel? How many of you are going through situations and stuff? You do want to book a private reading with me, soulworkwithjeni.com. Book through there. That's the best way for you to book through it. If I don't get back to you right away, just hang tough. I will get back to you. I get many, many messages coming in, right? So make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you on the next Cosmic Vibes.